Hi everybody, welcome back. We are waiting to speak to Arsenal's own Bukayo Saka. We're just waiting for him to be ready to speak to us, so we will go there very shortly. In the meantime, let's bring in a friend of the show. He is ready, live from North London, Bukayo Saka.
Capitano!
Second appearance on the show. Let's go, baby. Titi, take it away.
Oh, am I allowed?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Go
nice.
ahead.
I like it. I like it. Bukayo, well done once again. Captain.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
I just have a little question. Why is it so different when I look at your performance, not you, I'm talking as a team, home and away from home in Europe?
This is a good question. It's a question I've been thinking about myself, and when I was speaking with the boys in the team talk before the game, I made sure I said, today we need to make a big statement. When we play in Europe against the big teams, I don't think we've shown our full quality and the full standards that we show. So, yeah, at home we showed today, but we do need to do that away and find the reason why.
I have another question. I wanted to ask you, how do you feel? Because the amount of work that you're doing, and by the way, rightly so, you guys are defending well as a team. And Gabriel and obviously Saliba and David Raya take all the credits as it should be. But if it wasn't for you and the work that Martinelli does and Havertz and Trossard all over the place, it would have been way more difficult. How do you feel? Because every time you get the ball back, you have to make those 60 yards to go and to come back.
Yeah, man, it's good that you noticed that. The attackers are doing a lot of work as well for the clean sheets, but yeah, of course, we have to do our job to help out the defenders. It's not easy, as an attacking player. I want to be up the pitch and save my legs for the transition, but, when I look at the results and, yeah, the results we've had this season, we have a lot of clean sheets, so it shows that it's working. And most games we believe that we can score in open play or in set pieces, so as long as we score most games, we can win.
Bukayo, what you also have a lot of is goals from set pieces, and your left foot is a wand. How much practice is going into this on the training pitch?
It's a lot of practice, I'll tell you that. It's a lot. And yeah, it's paying off. So for us, it's not really a coincidence that we are scoring. And yeah, we just want to continue scoring goals like this. And even if it's as lucky as today, we'll take it.
You say that one was lucky. Was that deliberate to hit that free kick to the near post, or was that mishit?
No. Definitely it was a delivery to the near post. Hoping for someone to get a flick on, but also with these balls, it's nice to hit them, and if no one touches them, that they go in. So that was really the strategy, and that happened.
Saka. What?
You're gonna ask me about my haircut again, isn't it?
I was just assessing the trim. I mean, it's okay. I give it a 7 out of 10.
Come on, man.
When you come into the barber, man, for some loving.
Nah, man, I'm not coming. I'm loyal.
Oh, no one can ever change the barber, can they?
No, well, depends.
Oh, have you changed yours?
No, mine, yeah.
Bukayo, I have one last one for you. I mean, it's a big one. Do you think this season is the season for the title? Do you think it is important this year to win the title?
I don't want to put too much pressure on us, but I do think this is the year. I think we've been close the last 2 years. And yeah, we're getting closer, but yeah, this hopefully will be the year.
True, Captain. I like that. I like the way you've been speaking tonight.
New Tony Adams.
Bukayo, we appreciate you. Thank you for
Hey,
the
when are
time.
you coming home?
Sorry?
When are you coming at home? I'm waiting.
I'm coming, don't worry. Hey, the schedule's been really busy, but I'm going to be there soon, don't worry.
Gabby, Tristan are waiting.
I have his present, don't worry.
Don't keep him waiting. I'll be there, Saka, as well, don't worry. We'll have a nice lunch.
Look at this guy.
Also, I'll bring the chicken, I'll cook it, season it lovely.
Okay, I'll see you there.
Oh, well done. Keep going.
Okay,
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Oh, I love the win.
Bye. Is he the show favourite? Might be.
He's a class act, isn't he?
I think there's certain players, even at your rival clubs, you just can't dislike. I think Saka's one of them players who just falls into that category. That
I agree.
You find it very difficult, even if you're Man City or Liverpool have been challenging for the title with them. in the last couple of years, you see him, you just smile, don't you?
I really saw a player reaching his level, because right now it's hot, right? It's hot for more than the 2 years.
Yep.
Let's all be honest. At the Euro, they ask him to play wing back. I play wing back. He goes in defense for his right back. He goes high and wide. He goes on the left. He goes behind. He does everything without complaining. He plays every single game. Like he played in the Carabao Cup. He played last year after the World Cup, straight away in the first round of the FA Cup, I think it was. It's just what it is when you kind of thinking. I saw him at the academy. I didn't think he was going to be that good. I'll be honest with you. But when you work, you have that work ethic. You have a good family behind you, because I know the family. It's very important also. People talk about the entourage all the time, but he's clever. He's a clever man. He works well. I mean, it will be a dream. You guys play that fullback. If you have a guy like that in front of you, defending for you and everything, and going on the counter, he makes the job easier for everybody. So, well done.
But what I would say is normally, when you have players who work like that, at times they work like that because they lack a bit of quality. To get a player to work like that who's also got the quality to do it at the other end, that's when you know you've got something really, really special.
How do you see him? Is he little bro? Is he nephew? How do you think of him?
I don't know.
Someone you mentor?
I don't know. We have a good relationship, I'll be honest with you. We talk a lot. But what I admire with him is humility. It's easy to get carried away. Especially when you're that young and you deliver what he's delivering times and times again, week in, week out. He's so humble. It's sometimes I need to ask, when he comes to see me, I always come in, walk in. Like he's waiting at the door. He's such a nice guy. Really.
I can't wait for that lunch.
Micah's not. Micah's banging through the door.
Oh!
Oh, Micah.
Wow.
It's not very nice, is it?
Yeah. Terry.
Take it to a break, Kate.
Too much.
Oh, well.
Too much.
Me and you'll go out.
Yeah, my guy.
All
I'll
right.
take you two on.
You're an Arsenal fan.
Dependent.
You're an Arsenal fan, you can come.
Guy, well done. A winning start at home. How do you sum up the performance?
Yeah, I think we played very well, especially first half. Second half, I think sometimes we were a bit too passive, but still, it was a good game. Great result for us and good 3 points.
You're enjoying this stage. It's your stage right now, this stadium. 6th game running you've scored. Why? Why so at home?
I don't know. It feels great to play here. I love the stadium, I love the fans, and I'm just so thankful to be here and to play with that team.
Alan Shearer, our commentator, said you look like you're enjoying the physicality of the game as much as any time in your career right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was a big step for me. I think back in the days, I wasn't the player who loved the duels and everything, but right now I just love it and love to help the team with that.
When you see that cross from Leandro coming in, maybe you know Donnarumma's coming. What are you thinking?
I didn't even think too much. I just saw the ball, went for it, and was lucky that I was in front of the goalkeeper.
And you know what it takes to win this competition. Beating Paris Saint-Germain tonight, semi-finalists last season. What does it tell you about Arsenal in this competition this season?
Yeah, I think we are there. If we win against teams like this, it's important. It always gives us a big boost. And last year, I think against Bayern was tough to go out against them, to lose against them. But I think we grew up as a team and want to get better this year.
You sense a conviction, a belief around the stadium, which there maybe hasn't always been in this competition for this team.
Yeah, but it's so nice to play here. You see the fans before the game, especially how they support us, in difficult moments. That's the most important, and we want to give always something back to them.
Guy, well done tonight. You are as well player of the match. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Anita also managed to speak to the Arsenal manager, to Mikel Arteta, so let's listen into that.
Bukayo Saka said that he felt before this game the side hadn't shown their potential away from home, in particular in the Champions League, and they needed to do it today. Why do you feel the quality seems to drop off when they're not playing at the Emirates?
Well, it is more difficult. There are a lot of factors. The crowd is your own home. It's you are used to it. You know, you are more confident. But we had to do it against big opponents. Certainly, tonight we've done it. It's another step. But it's just a step. It's a lot of things that we can and we should do better, especially in the second half, to dominate more the games when we have them there. But I credit to the opponent as well and Luis, because he made some changes, he made life more difficult for us, and we had to adapt to that.
Nicolas Jova, your set-piece coach, he's being mentioned more and more. You've had 4 goals from set-pieces in the league, your first one in the Champions League tonight. Have you run out of words to say to him every time a goal is scored from a set-piece?
I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased with him, with all the work that all the coaches put, the understanding. And then it's about the players. They have to feel it, they have to buy into that, and then they have to execute it, which is the hardest thing to do. But it's the connection and the understanding of the importance of it, and the fact that obviously if you have another weapon, the opposition has to worry, has to work more than that, and more options in other sides.
You made a change at half-time. Jurriën Timber came off for Kivior. Could you update us? Is there an issue there?
Yeah, well, he was feeling something muscular, and I didn't want to take any more risk. Obviously, he's played a lot of minutes. He's been a year out, and he's been superb, and we made that a call.
Congratulations, thank you.
Thank you very much. So we saved the best to last. Let's go out to her. Anita Jones is waiting for us. Hello.
Hey, guys.
How's it going?
Very, very well. As you can imagine, a lot of smiles around the Emirates Stadium this evening. It felt like especially at the break, because Arsenal fans had seen them do this against Leicester at the weekend, but then it changed in the second half. This time, they managed to see out the game. So it almost feels like the side is looking more confident.
Did you get the impression that the team feel like it's a statement win against the team with the name of PSG?
Definitely. I feel like going into this game, although Arsenal were favourites on paper, given their performances across all competitions, PSG just, I guess, what that club really has in Europe. And, you know, the fact that they've had all these stars there over the years, it still carries weight. But Arsenal did an incredible job, like I said, from start to finish. And I think the real test was seeing it out in that second 45 minutes.
Can I ask what the atmosphere was like, Anita? Was it good?
The PSG fans brought it. I'll tell you, from start to finish, those ultras made their voices heard. But the Arsenal fans also were here, loud in voice, and they were really happy to see Mikel Merino come on. Of course, that summer signing who'd been out with a shoulder injury shortly after signing. So when he came on for Thomas Partey, everyone was up off their seats just applauding him. So good signs, I guess, especially if Mikel Arteta is able to have that deeper squad going into all these competitions.
Anita, Bukayo Saka said he feels like this is Arsenal's year for the title. You're a big Arsenal fan, aren't you? Is this going to be the year? I'm trying to build up this pressure on you.
Yeah, you're putting pressure on me, aren't you, Jamie? Is it the year for Liverpool?
Well, we've already done it, haven't we? A couple of years ago, Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, you have done it. But I guess given what Arsenal have done in the last couple of years, coming so close in the league, you feel with the additions in the transfer window, why not? Why not? Why can't they do it? And the maturity here, like I said, the fact that even being 2-2 at the weekend against Leicester, but managed to get those winners over the line in added time just shows what they can do. But I feel like the real test for all of us Arsenal fans will be that Inter-away game in match day 4. If they can do it away from home, a performance like what we saw this evening, then why can't they do it?
I think you're good with pressure, aren't you?
Am I? I'm sweating here. The lights got me sweating.
Well, with the size of them earrings, for sure.
We already established last season I got big ears, but Jamie's got bigger ears than me, you know, so they can handle the pressure of the big ears.
Anita, thank you so much. It was good to see you.
See you later, Anita.
Thanks, guys. See you.
Have a very warm welcome, everybody. If you are watching on the Golasso Show with Nico Cantor and friends, good to have you with us. We're going to go to a very quick break right here, but we'll be right back with interviews, analysis, highlights, everything. We've got 32 goals to try and get through. We may not get through them all. What is it? Is it Brest, Micah? Is that what's to you? What is it?
Boniface. Boniface.
Okay. Well,
32 goals. Stick with us. Look at this guy's crying.
good evening. So good to have you with us. Thanks for sticking around for the post-game. Kate, Thierry, Jamie, Micah, good to have you with us. We're going to go through a bunch of the action. Let's start with that game between Arsenal PSG. On paper, perhaps the game of match day 2. Let's take a look at how it played out. 2-0 the final score for Arsenal. In this one, we'll take you through the goals. Again, Kai Havertz with the first for Arsenal.
Great work from Leandro Trossard. As you can see here, you're going to see the usual run of Kai Havertz. Bukayo Saka is on the second post. Carragher reads it well. What a delivery, from Trossard, and Carragher gets in way before Donnarumma.
But just look at this, the running there. The way he's slowing it up, and then he goes quicker. Then he slows up again for the timing. The ball was perfect, but the timing of the run was
connection. He saw that, obviously Trossard saw that, and then he couldn't go too early. He would have been offside.
Correct.
So he timed his run, and he does that ever so well. He scored a very similar goal against Wolverhampton at the beginning of the season.
So we see all those players at the back. We see that so often from Arsenal, doesn't it? Whether that was a miss-hit from Saka, was it something deliberate? You know, you never quite know with Arsenal. And normally Saka's delivery is so good, right on point. But I agree with you, Tia. I think the goalkeeper's got to do better. It's not easy. It's right in front of him, but he just flaps at it at the last minute. And I think when Arsenal go 2-0 up now, you almost feel like the game's done, don't you, Micah?
Honestly, he's such a good player going forward. I mean, he struggled at times defensively, but really good strike. Just doesn't get the right amount of sort of bend.
And then another opportunity for Paris Saint-Germain on a set piece, very Arsenal-like, from João Neves. Yes, I mean, a very difficult skill what he tried to do, but the ball did hit the crossbar. As you can see here, it's kind of, let's try to hit it and see where it goes. But if the ball went second post, Barcola was alone. But he went on a crossbar.
Ridiculous stat. 81 shots, and they've not, because we had a conversation about Mbappe and obviously Dembele not being there tonight, and the difference. So much of this team was relying on the brilliance of Kylian Mbappe. Now we're seeing they're still creating chances because if you're taking 81 shots, but there's no killer instinct in front of goal at this moment in time.
You have to. I'm gonna play the devil's advocate. Some of those shots were also when Mbappe was in the squad, so they didn't score since when he was there. They scored against Girona, but we all know that it was an own goal. We're talking about them, a Paris Saint-Germain player, scoring in the Champions League. So it happened when Mbappe was there, and it's still happening now. I still think it's a different ball game when you do have a Verratti, when you have Dembele could have been there, but he was punished. You don't have, we talked about it, obviously Mbappe in the squad, or Dembele, obviously, as we mentioned, as he was out. But the team is well balanced. They had the ball. They had a lot of possession. That's about it. You don't have that match winner, that game winner that you had in the past. Yes, the team is a bit more well balanced. You can see that there is an idea when they approach the other team. They know what they need to do, but in and around the box, apart from Barcola tonight that was trying to do something, we didn't see much. But again, you left Dembele at home for a reason that we have to respect. But they would have helped tonight for sure.
I mean, PSG are a top European side, right? Do you consider this a statement win for Arsenal in that sense?
I think in terms of the name of the club and where the players that they've had in the past, I think when you're looking at the team 11v11, it's still a good win. But I still think, and credit to Arsenal for this, I think when you think Arsenal are at home to PSG, I think very few people would think PSG go there and win right now. And that's probably, it's not criticising PSG. I think that's more sort of giving what do people say now? Flowers. Flowers.
Correct, yeah.
Arsenal, you can have my flowers.
I'll say one more thing. I think that for me, it's as you said, it's normal right now that Arsenal beats Paris Saint-Germain at home, especially that Paris Saint-Germain side, with no disrespect to Paris Saint-Germain. I want to win like that away from home against Paris Saint-Germain, or whoever's going to come your way. Go at
Does it happen like that though with the new setup, does it?
Go at Inter and win strong. Be strong defensively, no shot on target against Porto, 2 against I don't know who, and 3. I want that type of win away from home. Then I can talk about and be loud as an Arsenal fan saying, hey, we can win in Europe. We didn't.
Hey, we can win.
I didn't.
That was loud.
No, listen, I didn't win with Arsenal also in Europe. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying to you, a proper statement win is do that away from home.
Dortmund, Brest and Leverkusen are the 3 teams right now with a 100% record. Brest actually play Bayer Leverkusen match day 3, so that'd be an interesting one.
It's a big one. Like sometime name. Oh my God. No, you know what? I gotta go. It's a big game.
Jamie, what's up with you?
Because we both top, so obviously it's a big game.
Bit lopsided, I think.
Anyway, should we? Sure. Oh, good news, everybody. We have a guest coming into the show. They'll enjoy joining this, won't they? Apparently, Karim Adeyemi is getting mic'd up to come and join us on this one. Woo. Are you good?
I am great.
Patrick tonight, did you enjoy his performance?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, Adeyemi is just one of them players who excites you every time you watch him, whether he's playing on the right, the left, dribbling, he runs in behind. And a hat-trick tonight was just great. But he did get an injury, which we'll ask him about.
Yes, we will.
Hopefully he's okay, because...
Well, that's a terrific win, you would have to say, for Mikel Arteta's side, coupled with the point in Bergamo that obviously could have gone differently with the penalty save. But interesting, looking at the match stats, fellas, 35, less than 36% possession. Interesting.
I think sometimes that's how you win the Champions League. You need different ways. Obviously, in the domestic league, you can try and dominate possession. When you play a team like PSG, who can have the ball as well, you need something else. And I thought that was brilliant today. That was a step forward, I think, for us. You think about what happened against Bayern last season in the Champions League, an experienced Bayern side. They had a few issues. I thought today they show real character from Arsenal.
Yeah, and the other thing, we've seen so many occasions tonight where teams have given the ball away cheaply. They haven't been able to play through the press. I think a lot of coaches out here think you have to be Pep in order to win the Champions League.
Well, and he gets the label, doesn't he, Arteta, naturally enough.
The thing is, sometimes you have to be Jose too. If you can do both, then you've got a really good chance of
And he's such a young manager himself, isn't he? He's learning. He learns very quickly. We talk about game management. We talked about the Thames barrier. For large periods, they sat behind the ball. Quite happy.
Not letting that go, are you?
No. Why would you? Why would you? When you've got to dive in to show it off, don't you?
There's hardly anything left of London, the amount of rain we've had. But that defence is still watertight. It's remarkable. But it comes from Saka, it comes from Martinelli. Everybody buys into it. And then when they attack, you often see it's the fullback. Calafiori is getting forward. Timber's getting forward. Went off at half-time. Hopefully, he's not going to be too bad. So that's a really great professional performance from Arsenal tonight. The fans would have got used to that as well. We can't dominate every game. We're in Europe now. We have to be professional. We have to be clever and cute in front of goal. And the set pieces, again, came to their rescue, went off to a flying start with another goal from a set piece. And he's finding a way to win this manager.
It feels quite an important moment for Arteta. There's a kind of belief. There's a not roller coaster, but there's a momentum that they're gathering now as a team that they think we are top table.
I think one of the biggest downfalls for modern managers now is the fact they have their style of play and they just stick to it regardless of what happens. We're seeing it time and time again. And I think it's nice that you have a philosophy, but I think Mikel is adapting real quick. All of a sudden now he's got his style of play, and it's really good. But again, set pieces, by far the best in the world at set pieces. The coaching, the detail that goes into that is amazing. And now they're starting to play a little bit more direct. They play long balls. They're winning a game against a really good PSG team with 35% possession. I like the fact that Mikel doesn't have one way of playing. He can beat you with other ways.
They don't get involved in a mid-pitch block. They press high. They don't like it in the middle there, so they drop to the edge of the box. And it's like, OK, can you beat us? We'll get everybody behind the ball. I like the look of it. And it's very frustrating. We saw it, didn't we, with City last period. They had down to 10 men. So I would be happier a little bit at times that they can understand it better in a mid-block. The teams I played in, we didn't allow teams to come onto us quite so much. But they found a way, edge of their own box, and it looks really watertight.
They've got better defenders now.
But Matt, that's a great point, because actually defensively they keep so many clean sheets, and they have match winners at the top of the pitch. We're just going to run through the first goal. And it's really interesting on the fact that, how this really comes about. I'm just going to highlight. Look at Kai Havertz. That's going to be your goal scorer. And he's obviously coming from that deeper position. We look at the PSG defenders there. They're not marking anyone. And Kai can come from this position, and I love that. And you look at Trossard, he's on the ball there. He's waiting. Kenny cuts back. And as soon as he cuts back, you can see the defenders, he's not sure. Everybody looks at the ball. Kai's in there. And all he wants to do is come from this deeper position and get into that area. And he is brilliant at this. Timing-wise, he's exceptional. The ball, he knows I'm off. And he's stood up into an absolute perfect area. Donnarumma's a little bit late, but the one thing I would say is Arsenal defensively, exceptional, and now they have players at the top of the pitch that can hurt you. I'm going to go to 2-0 as well, because I think that's really important as well. We talk about set pieces. One of the best teams in the world at set pieces. Look at all these guys Look at all these guys at the back post. It's like...
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
You know, it's brilliant because basically all they want to do is work into this area.
Yeah.
And Saka is going to hit this area. And I'm just going to run it slow. Watch Saka. As soon as he puts his hand up, watch how quickly these players move. It's brilliant. Nobody's at the front post. Not one person. And watch how quickly these guys transition. Saka puts his hand up. That's the signal. Right, we're on the move. And once they get on the move, everybody takes up position. Somebody's got to be at the near post. That's coming in there. Okay, it's not pretty, but I tell you what, it's effective. People are covering areas, so they're good defensively. They got match winners at the top of the pitch and set pieces there.
Do you know what's really interesting? It's like they used to say to us, if you get as high as you can, and it's like drawing a curtain in front of the opposition's goalkeeper. As you run across, he hasn't got a clue what's happening. It's like putting a screen up, and there's 2 or 3 movements. No one hits it. Ball goes in the back of the net. Maybe a fraction of a touch. And it's great ball in. The delivery of the ball, Saka does not get enough.
I was going to say, yeah, the delivery is almost always pretty much on point from Saka, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'd just like to talk about PSG for a sec, because it's a PSG team that's got an average age of 23. They let Messi go to Inter Miami, Neymar's in Saudi, Mbappe's finally got his move to Real Madrid. And the way they've gone about recruiting this team is it's a little bit like what Monaco did when Monaco used to get to semi-finals in the Champions League. There are players who are on the cusp of going from good to great players, Barcola, Vitinha. But that's a very young team that we saw tonight, with Luis Enrique dropping Ousmane Dembele because they had a fallout at the weekend, not in the squad. So you've got Desiré Doué coming in and playing on the right-hand side tonight. Paid 50 million for him. Had anyone who doesn't follow the league heard about Desiré Doué until we've just mentioned him? No. So it's kind of quite a no-name PSG side.
They pretty won every single game, though, going into this
No,
game,
but I think it's a very different PSG in terms of the model, in terms of how PSG have gone about recruiting teams in the past, where it's been, let's get Zlatan, let's get Cavani.
Oh, this is way better, though, isn't it?
I think you can see it's a more cohesive unit that I think in time can go further than
they
the other
should have done this
PSGs.
sooner, really.
But
they went for the kind of the star name, didn't they?
They are earlier in their project, I would say, than Mikel is with Arsenal.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think that has to be contextualised tonight in terms of where they're at.
Yeah, that's fair. Although I think the average age at Arsenal is also not that old, but they're definitely more develops under the coach and style of play. Yeah, good point, James. Good point. Okay, good win for Arsenal. 4 points from their first 2 Champions League games.
Player of the match. It was a pretty good interview as well. I thought that was interesting, Martin, what he said about having to learn to start enjoying the physical side of it, because he's a unit.
I think that's right, because when he came over here, I know he's scored in the Champions League final, but at the end of it all, he had a lot of difficulty, and it looked as if he didn't like the physicality
kind of
of
ghosted
the game.
around the periphery a little bit.
Around, no genuine pace, crowd getting at him, things like this here. And even in his days at Arsenal, funnily enough, when I was actually at a game, Brentford versus Arsenal, must have been 2 seasons ago, perhaps now, and he comes on and scores in the last minute of the game, and it's almost like galvanised him. It's as if I've broken off something here. I can do this, and he's taken off. I'm not saying that particular minute. Me watching him was the one was suggesting that, but really it was, and he's been fantastic, really. Although I am inclined to agree with Shay that I think that Arsenal may need what you think about in terms of a centre forward, you know?
Well, let's have a look at Havertz's moment tonight, though. Martin, this is the goal that set them on their way. And it's the usual... There's a lot. He goes in, but he gets in the end of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. He's looking at the play here at this minute. It's a lovely little ball in, but it's one that the goalkeeper you're thinking about. As Shay mentioned, he's only just back. He's missed the last couple of games down a run. But Havertz, I honestly don't think that about a season and a half ago Havertz would have gone for that. And he's done it now. And he's gone very bravely.
How often he's done it now, Martin, isn't
Absolutely.
it? And then when you look at the pictures back, and I'm sort of not backing my own argument here, he glides into from midfield, so the centre half's going to have no one to pick up, and he arrives in them positions a lot. And as you mentioned, the size of him, 6'3", 6'4", He's brilliant in the air.
Yeah, he done this a lot for watched him play Leverkusen quite a bit. He played in kind of a number 10 position. The amount of times he glided into the box, and is one of his strengths actually is kind of aerial ability. But he lost his way a little bit. And you're right, he lost his confidence. First half of last season, he was absolutely shot, and he found something second half of the season. Fair play again to Arteta. He stuck with him, kept putting him into the team, and he finished the season strongly. And he's picked up where he left off.
The second goal was, I mean, there's not much positive to say about the defending on this one. This is credit to Saka because it was Saka's goal because no one touched it on the way in.
Yeah, there's a few things about this. So it's that near post zone, of course. For me, you always need a defender in there because the defender knows he has to open up his body. He's got to see those runners coming and he's got to make sure he's the first one who goes to meet the ball. That's exactly what Barkley doesn't do there, and he doesn't do it because he's not a defender and he hasn't got those defensive instincts. What I would say behind him, I think PSG need to do a little bit better because Arsenal flood that near post area. You look at the number of Arsenal players arriving here, and Marquinhos is absolutely swamped by about 2 or 3 Arsenal players. And the last thing I'd say is Donnarumma, for me, has to stick that right arm out. Have a look at him here. That's kind of powder puff from the PSG goalkeeper for me. I think he needs to make himself bigger there, and at least anticipate that ball potentially might come in a straight line and get that right arm up.
What do you go on, Lee?
No, I'm just listening to the goalkeeping expert.
Oh, so you can comment about the outfield players. We can't comment about goalkeepers.
I was going to agree with you if you give me a chance, because that last angle was a wee bit damning on the goalkeeper, if I'm being honest, because you can see the flight of the ball coming to him, and obviously he gets distracted by the bodies coming across him. But as a goalkeeper, if he keeps his eye on the ball, he should really make the save, can he? If I'm being honest. And if someone toe pokes it in front of him and goes in there, there's nothing you can do with that one. But
he was extremely highly rated at one stage.
He was. I mean,
he's supposed to be a great shot stopper, if not amazing with his feet. So he didn't really stop the shots tonight.
He didn't know, and Martin might show you some stuff playing out from the back as well. I don't think he's the best with the ball at his feet either. So there's still, they paid. He's highly paid, one of the highest paid goalkeepers in world football, I think. But I still think there's question marks over him, both with the ball at his feet and also obviously with his goalkeeping.
Paris Saint-Germain had a few moments we showed at half-time in the first half. Maybe a few for being generous in the second half.
Well, they need one of these to go in, didn't he? I think this is maybe Ruiz at the near post. Just, I suppose you need a bit of luck in football as well. Could have hit the bar one under. Raya was baiting on this occasion, but you needed one of these to make a game of it. Really, look at the clock on the top under 66 minutes. This is Ruiz with a long range sort of shot. Probably Raya comfortable enough. This one, I think it's Lee with a shot. This is a decent save, and because it moves a lot, and Raya has to readjust his position. But again, if you're shooting from 30 yards out, Arsenal Arteta will be happy enough with that position.
Ousmane Dembele might have been handy out there tonight, Shay. He was dropped for disciplinary reasons.
That's the other question mark now, and I would imagine the media back in France will be having a bit of a field day. Did the manager, and Martin's probably a good person to ask this, did the manager get it wrong? Because their star player's not there, and they were a bit powder puff in front of the goal. Would he have made the difference?
What do you think, Martin? I presume you have to stand by your decision. You can't just go by the result.
Absolutely right. You have to do that. What might be interesting about it, and I might know this myself, that if this is the second Champions League game, if this had been the last Champions League game and Paris Saint-Germain needed something to it, maybe the referee. It's that great old quote, I have principles, and if you don't like them, I have others. So I think that's it. That's the big thing about it. So I don't know. I wonder what I would have done myself.
Yeah, I wonder though, Kenny, because when you look at their fixtures, they've got some hard games. Atletico, they still have to play Bayern, Manchester City, Stuttgart, which is Martin's dark horse. So they've got some tricky fixtures. I doubt they'll finish outside the top 24, but certainly like a top 8 automatic spot in the last 16 looks very tricky now.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of this, how we're set up now. You can afford to take a few kind of hits, a few beatings almost, but you got your prize in those 2 or 3 kind of wins, which will take you through. So you're right, you've got some difficult fixtures coming up, but I still expect them to accumulate enough points to actually even to get into the knockout stages. And that wasn't their best 11. Let's clarify, that wasn't their best 11 on the pitch this evening. Kimpembe comes in at centre half. The 2 substitutes, even Ruiz, he has to come back into centre midfield, like we said. Otherwise, they're too lightweight in there, too many similar players. And Muani at least gave him a physical presence, had a bit of running power when he came off the bench. So for me, there's more to come from this PSG team.
What happened to the new identity we were supposed to see, though? It's a new team. That's part of the reason that he was dropped, and that Dembele was dropped. And Enrique's been big on this. It's his second season in charge now. It's just too early to judge them.
Yeah, but that doesn't come in an instant in terms of building that rapport and that kind of culture out of football club. That was a first step in terms of slapping Dembele down this evening. So, yeah, like I said, I think the fans are going to have to be patient with the manager moving forward. This team has to evolve and improve. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I think short term, I mean, he might get some criticism for it, but generally speaking, I think what he'll done, he sent down the marker, and I think the players will respond to that there. I think they'll feel Dembele's not got away with it, whatever it may be, and this man's here for the future.
Yeah,
that's
he's in
the point.
charge.
Yeah.
There were a couple of half penalty shouts. Any more than that, do you think, for Paris?
Oh, yeah, I thought the second was half to 3/4, to be honest with you. Declan Rice. Not this one for me. Look, the rules of the game, ball hits that. Is it a natural position for the arm to be in? I think it is. The ball only travels 3 yards. It hits Calafiori, but his hands by his side for me, so no penalty. That's pretty straightforward for me.
The second one is from a corner kick where there's a little bit of grappling, which we see a lot of. There was a bit of a clampdown on this at one point, Kenny. It doesn't seem to be a problem anymore.
Declan Rice does a lot of this for me. I'm talking about physically imposing yourself. I've no problem with that. But when you turn your back and on the ball and wrap both your arms around the opposition player, preventing getting him off the ground, you're really running a danger there, giving away a penalty kick.
I'm with you, Kenny, in that there, because every single week a corner against Arsenal, and Rice is doing exactly that. He's not been punished for it so far, but somewhere along the way, messages get through, finally get to referees and people like us here. You know, they're listening in, they tune in, and eventually they'll
start listening to Kenny.
They'll definitely listen to Kenny. There's no question.
Never
about
grappled,
it.
of course. Yeah, never grappled at a corner kick, I'm sure.
You know, I can see a referee being interviewed and saying that's all down to Cunningham. You know,
I never looked away. I never heard a coach in my day encourage a player to turn his back on the ball to try and mark a play. And for me, it actually threw me off kilter when I couldn't see the ball and I was purely focused on the player. It made me kind of really nervous. How can you impose yourself and get yourself into the right defensive position when you can't actually see the ball?
You're not trusting your teammates. If everyone else is doing their job and your only job is basically to rugby tackle one of their main headers of the ball, then that's what you have to do.
Taking a huge risk from me.
It's a gamble, isn't it? It's a gamble. With the referee, especially in the Champions League, you can see them picking them up. VAR's he's lucky. I think he got away one there. The second one, definitely.
Yeah, would there be a coach to do that? I mean, is that all part of this? Is this Nicolas Jover's part of his master plan?
Going back years, you see the Italians sort of defending and they have their arms out and blocking. And I think he can get away with it easier. But what Rice is doing there is nearly like grappling and getting his arms around him.
Dark arts, would you call it, Shay?
I would call it the dark arts.
They're good at that one. Well, allegedly, yeah. What else was happening? So Arsenal were getting a lot of joy, Martin, out of pressing Paris Saint-Germain high. Paris didn't seem to have much of an answer for this. You weren't impressed with how they tried to play through it.
Yeah, I've got this feeling that most teams in world football are unable to play the ball out from the back. And they're very, very few. And that's obviously a great save. It's a nice little move. But these are just gifts for Arsenal. And of course they would know this, that Paris Saint-Germain are trying to play it out from the back, so they'll close them. And they take the ball off them, and suddenly for nothing really, they're getting in and goal. And this was we're seeing some examples from this here from the second half, but it was happening all first half as well too. What happens is the big centre half plays the ball to Mendes. Generally speaking, in the first half, Mendes has nowhere to go. He's trying to find his midfield player. His midfield player gets closed down, and this is just look at it. You know, these are shots on goal and proper chances, all because of Paris trying to play the ball out.
Yeah. This is the modern game, isn't it? Well, I'd say 80-90% of football teams that I watch, whether it's Premier League, Championship, Electricity over here, everybody's looking to play this way. And it's always the same, risk and reward. Are you good enough to play around that initial press?
But they should be good enough. I understand when teams of a low level are trying to do it and they don't have the capability. But if you're Paris, if you have all the money they have, you have the technical ability they have, surely they'd be a club that should aspire to be able to beating a press, no?
But if you're being closed down by really good players, then it is very, very difficult. So no matter how talented you think you are, if you're being closed down by an equally talented player who can take the ball off you and then outrun you, perhaps.
What they didn't have as well, Martin, was a focal point. They didn't have, we've already mentioned this, they didn't have a bigger striker. They could miss out the press. Play over the press. And then what happens if you play over the press a couple of times, Arsenal just drop off and then you can start to play.
There is a logic to it though, right? Luis Enrique is a vastly experienced manager. He has had success. So he sees some benefit if they can make this work over the long term.
I'll tell you what would be interesting. I'll tell you what would be really interesting. I don't know whether anybody has ever done a stat in this. It's been going on now for a couple of seasons.
I will have that stat. Don't worry about that, Martin.
I'd love to know what the stat is for the number of times that the press has been beaten by by the number of times that the players have closed down and robbed them.
Yeah.
You know, that would be really
that
interesting.
sounds like a college PhD that
well,
somebody has to get involved
it's
in.
not
Yeah, more
because,
time in
I
their
mean, the
hands,
game
yeah.
is stats-driven now at this minute. Therefore, that should be really important.
Well, we're talking
And
about
that-
every single level, Martin. I mean, we're talking about, as Kenny says,
Absolutely.
Champions League level, we're talking Premier League. How many goals? Like, look at Southampton's probably a good example in the Premier League. How many goals are they conceding by overplaying?
Burnley last year, probably a good example.
Please, there are times to play it out. Don't be thinking I'm superannuated Luddite or something like this here. But there are times, and you can play the ball out from the back. But if you're being closed and you're being seen to do that, surely heavens a goalkeeper can see the situation and think, I can't play it straight in there.
Goalkeepers can't say very much.
Generally
speaking,
the only thing I would say in the goalkeeper's defence is that he's been coached to play from the back.
That's true.
So no matter what happens, Arsenal do, I still want you to give it to the centre half. I still want to give it to the right back, whatever.
The goalkeeper is key though as well, isn't it? Like, if you've got Ederson at the back, you can begin the play from there.
Yeah.
You need your goalkeeper to be your best ball player, effectively.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
some of them are now.
I think Ederson's probably killed all the old goalkeepers around the world because he is like a centre midfielder playing in goals.
Yeah.
And he's so good, he's so comfortable on the ball.
Donnarumma looks a bit clunky, doesn't he?
Donnarumma, like, I think he's about 7 foot tall, so it's a long way down from the brain to the feet, you know.
Just got to mix it up. I think he's just got to be smart with it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we see Manchester City probably the best there is in terms of playing it out, but they don't mind hitting it back to front to Haaland overneath the press if they have to, but they have that physical presence up front.
Let's see what Luis Enrique has to say post-match. Here is the Paris manager.
Luis, your first defeat of the season. How do you sum up the night and the performance?
Yeah, my feeling is sad and a bad feeling, of course. But I have to say that we couldn't compete at the level that they did, and they deserve to win the match. And they press us high the whole first match, and they got 2 goals, and after that they defend in a different way, and they deserve that victory.
Were Arsenal all you expected in terms of their approach?
Yeah, I know the intensity of that team, how they play with the ball, on the ball and off the ball. They are at the high level, top level, no doubt in that. It wasn't a surprise. We knew that the standards were there.
Is the frustration for you as well the second goal to score direct from a free kick?
That happens in football, it's normal, and we have to accept we were losing almost every single duel, and against a team like Arsenal, so aggressive in the pressure, and you don't win the duels, you are going to suffer. And okay, we'll try to go on and think about the next match.
And how do you view now for Paris Saint-Germain the next sequence of games? You have some difficult games in this competition.
Yeah, we were the team with the worst draw, and we have to manage that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Just to let you know how things are looking in this extremely bulky-looking table, it is Arsenal in the top 8 there. So if it was to end today, this phase, then they would be straight through to the round of 16. As you can see, Paris Saint-Germain have got work to do. You know, they're okay for the time being, but as Luis Enrique mentioned, it's going to be tricky for them because they have got some difficult ties. He says it's the hardest draw that anyone's got. Martin, did you like that interview? He's pretty honest.
He was honest. He said about Arsenal just as exactly what we talked about Arsenal pressing high, and they couldn't beat the press. But listen, he's a great manager. There's no question about it. His record is there for all to see. And you know all the criticism I'm giving out here at this minute? I've done the same things myself. So at the end of the day, so I think that hopefully you pick up and you learn from it. You know, it's not going to happen because they will continue to play out as exactly as you said. They will continue to do that there. But if it's going to cost you in the long term, it didn't cost them in terms of all the goals that might have been scored tonight, but one day it will do.
Mikel Arteta is presumably quite a happy man after all that.
How much of a statement was that, beating one of the top-ranked teams in Europe quite comfortably?
Really happy. Obviously, we want to make the Emirates a really difficult place to come. We really want to feel comfortable, reassured that against big opponents we can play our own way. And I'm really happy with the results, with the clean sheet, with the performance, especially in the first half. And then the second half, we have to adapt the way they played as well. Force us to be much deeper than we wanted in many moments, but we're still happy to play that game.
Set pieces continue to be a very important part of your game. Is it time to give a shout out to your set piece coach?
We always do. We always give credit to the coaches for the work that they do. But at the end, the players have to buy into that, you know. And we put a lot of effort and work into that. It's a situation that can change the game. Today it did. We had another 3-4 big open situations to score, and we didn't. So we have to score somehow to win games. Is it fair to say that it is a part of the game that more teams are working on, much more compared to a couple of years ago? Yeah, no. I think in the last five years it was an enormous change. You see that the amount of specialists that are in the game and everything. Everybody works on everything, and that's why it's tougher and tougher to win. Finally, you're still unbeaten this season. What do you say about the level of consistency that the team is in at the moment? Yeah, really good, because especially after the international break, it's been a really challenging period. The amount of games, the level of the games, the little recovery that we had between games in comparison to other teams. Injuries, still, you know, the team adapts, the team wants it, and we continue to win. Thank you. Thank you.
That set-piece coach has been getting plenty of shout-outs. I've given him a couple already myself tonight. Kenny, we've done their Premier League game at the weekend against Leicester. That match tonight, has it influenced how you think about Arsenal's season, what you've seen over the last couple of days?
No, probably just reinforced it, if anything else. Just feel the strength and depth now in the squad. Look at that kind of midfield, speaking about Rodri up in Manchester City, of the strength Arsenal have in there, that partnership of Partey and Declan Rice. They could lose one of them. They have a replacement there already. Marino came off the bench and got minutes there, so he's another option from that central midfield area. Timber as well, coming to Calafiore, strengthened that defensive area of the pitch. And Enrique alluded to it there. He mentioned about we lost too many duels, and I think what he was talking about was they couldn't deal with Arsenal's physicality, and this is a strong, physical Arsenal team who can play and win in any number of ways. And if PSG are to improve in that area, even those kind of fundamentals, just physically being able to stand up to that type of Arsenal team, which they are, they're technically good, clever footballers, but they can look after themselves. And if you want a physical battle with Arsenal, as they showed up at the Etihad last week, no problem at all.
Shay or Martin, either?
Yeah, right. Yeah, Enrique said before the game that Arsenal might be the strongest side in European football when they haven't got the ball. And I think that's been proved over the last couple of weeks. Particularly Manchester City couldn't break them down really until the last minute of the game, or the 96th minute, and they were down to 10 men. They have this even in the second half here. Even though we felt from a distance they're comfortable, they sat back. You heard Havertz saying, we thought we dropped a wee bit too deep. But even so, they know that they're protecting a 2-goal lead at the end. They're comfortable in many aspects. Yes, they had, Paris Saint-Germain had that chance where it hit the bar, in the top of the bar, but, that was isolated, I must admit. There was no concerted pressure on them tonight. And Arsenal continue to impress defensively.
Best team in the world without the ball, Shay?
Big statement, that one.
It's not from me, it's from Luis Enrique, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think Luis Enrique, obviously, they've all got top analysts as well at these clubs, at these top clubs as well, and surely he would watch Arsenal this season and say they press high up the pitch, so we need a plan B to sort of miss out that press or do something different. They didn't have a plan B, I felt, but Arsenal at the minute doesn't seem to have any weaknesses. Now if somebody like Kai Havertz or something, it seems that they might have a problem, but at the same time they're so close, they're knocking on the door on all fronts, Champions League and Premier League, but until they can actually open the door and get their hands on something, we could be sitting here this time next year saying the exact same thing.
Okay, well listen, I think that's the first time we've heard the use of the word superannuated on the show, Martin. So you brought a new one to us there nicely.